He makes his debut August 13th in Regina, Canada. He's going to defeat Joey Maggs, who most people remember was an enhancement talent a lot of times in WCW. His pay-per-view debut happens at Survivor Series 92. He's going to pin Virgil after sitting on him. And Meltzer would say, Yokozuna is going to be a moneymaker. This is exactly what it should have been. 1 star. The match only goes 3 minutes and 34 seconds. The bonsai drop. Talk to me about that as a finishing maneuver. It definitely looks devastating. You can definitely see that this is very believable, and it's very believable because it probably was very dangerous. Tell me about the bonsai drop and what you remember about coming up with it and any hesitations or concerns you guys may have had.
Shit, light as a feather, man. Yoko could be heavier than his 400 plus pounds. And he could also be like a pillow. So depending upon which Yoko you got that day and how much he liked you. So for the most part, it was a pretty easy bump, and it was just so devastating that after that bonsai drop, what else would he do? Who's getting out of that? Who's going to kick out of that? And it was simple. It was something everyone could take. Again, this was one of those, everything fell into place so easily because it was so logical, and you had the right guy in the right gimmick doing all of the right things.
Well, you know that Yoko is headed for great things because soon after this Survivor Series match, he's working with Randy Savage on the house shows, and he's actually beating Randy. Any hesitation for Randy on Randy's end to put over a new big guy like this?
None. Randy wanted to work with him, and Randy was happy to go out and work with Yoko every night because Randy saw the money in it. And Randy thought, holy shit, this big bastard is going to be great. So Randy thought, let me go around, take that Chief J Strongbow role, if you will. Let me go around and put this son of a bitch over everywhere and really get him over so that when he's going into your town and all the live events, you're seeing him against former WWF champion Macho Man Randy Savage, and he's beating him. Yeah. It got Yoko over immediately.
He comes into the Royal Rumble 1993 on January 24th in Sacramento as number 27 in the Rumble match. He's going to eliminate Bob Backlund, Tatanka, Earthquake, Carlos Colon, Tito Santana, Owen Hart, and Randy Savage, which sounds like one hell of a Hall of Fame class. He winds up winning the Royal Rumble match, and as a result, earns a world title shot at WrestleMania 9. And this is the first time that they had that stipulation where if you win the Rumble, you get a title match at WrestleMania. Pretty creative finish. Savage and Yoko are the last two in the ring. Savage gets Yoko down and does the elbow drop off the top. But he goes for the pin, and Yoko bench presses him off from the ground over the top rope to win the match. And even though Yokozuna was only in the company for a few months at this time, you got to think, they're strapping the rocket to him. Holy cow. Gets a win on pay-per-view at Survivor Series very quickly after his debut. Now throws out half the roster and wins the Rumble, and he's in the main event for WrestleMania. This is unprecedented to be pushed this far, this hard, this fast, is it not?
Well, every time from Yokozuna's debut up until this point, you would hear that music. Music was very low-key, calming. Yokozuna would walk out, come through the curtain, and the crowd would all stand, and you would hear a murmur across the audience, like, oh my God, look at that. Oh my, oh. And then when Yoko would give his finish, there would be an audible, oh. So this bastard had captured the imagination of the audience because they'd never seen someone that size, that look. Sure, we've seen Andre. We've seen big guys. This was a big bastard that could move and knew how to use his weight. So to the average fan, they're talking amongst themselves going, who the fuck can beat this guy? How are you going to get him out of the Rumble? If he enters the Rumble, he can't go over the top rope. Who's going to eliminate him? So it was a perfect storm. You know, this was during a time that we were all looking at different things to do, and we're looking at life without Hulk Hogan. So we thought at the time for a little while that, okay, what are we going to do? Do we change this formula and go with a monster heel and look for a baby face to chase? Just discussing a lot of different things. And we had the perfect storm in Yokozuna because he had captured the audience's imagination. And he was water cooler talk. So let's go with it, because you can't pick it and you can't figure out how they can beat him. And if they don't beat him and he wins, who the fuck's ever going to beat him?
Well, it's just fascinating to me that, you know, this guy comes in so fast and is pushed so quickly. How is he, you know, this is a guy who's been wrestling for a while at this point. How's he responding to the push? You know, some guys don't always respond well to it and aren't really prepared for it. And we've talked about that here on the show. Others are ready for it, but perhaps everybody in the locker room isn't. How is this perceived by others? And is Rodney ready for this, you think?
Rodney took it as if it were another day at the office. As far as everyone else in the locker room, you couldn't deny him his ability. You couldn't deny his talent. And Rodney wasn't an asshole. Rodney's a great guy that everybody liked. So you were happy for the success he was having. And if what they were doing with him was successful, then it's successful for everybody else involved. So it was all good. And here was a guy, if he gets over and business picks up, it helps everybody along the way. So it was nice. I mean, there really was no animosity towards him. And if there were, then we probably just would have shut him up, but there weren't, because Rodney wasn't an asshole about it in any way, shape, or form.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson here to tell you a little more about what adfreeshows.com is all about. Get early, ad-free access to more than a dozen of your favorite wrestling podcasts every single week, starting at just $9. That's less than 20 cents an episode each month. And yes, you can listen to them all directly through Apple Podcasts or your regular podcast apps. How easy is that? Ad-free shows also has thousands of hours worth of bonus content and docuseries like Title Chase, Eric Fires Back, Conversations with Conrad, and The Insiders. Plus new series like The Book with David Crockett, Monday Mailbags with Mike Chioda and Nick Patrick, and a whole lot more. And you want to talk about early? You can't get any earlier than listening to the shows live. You can be a part of the live studio audience as we record the podcast. Plus, ride shotgun alongside your favorite childhood heroes for live watch-alongs, Q&As, and other interactive experiences every single month. Come on now, see for yourself what thousands of other wrestling fans from around the world have discovered, that adfreeshows.com is the best value in wrestling. Check it out today, and hey, when you do, the first week is completely free. adfreeshows.com.